He was shocked to discover that the fake university he created on a whim had somehow attracted hundreds of students. For Bartleby, this wasn't just a sudden disaster. It was a test of his morals. These students had paid a total of millions in tuition. Faced with that huge sum of money, his friends suggested he take the cash and disappear. But Bartleby couldn't bring himself to do it. His conscience wouldn't let him, so he decided to call a meeting and tell the students the truth. But just as he was about to come clean, one student stood up, visibly emotional.
When I got accepted here, it was the first time my parents ever said they were proud of me.
That one sentence hit everyone in the room like a wave, including Bartleby. Moved by the moment, he changed his mind. What was supposed to be a goodbye turned into an impassioned speech. He told the students that everyone deserves a chance at education. Everyone deserves a shot at chasing their dreams.
We say yes to your hopes. We say yes to your dreams. Welcome to South Armand Institute of Technology!
But how did things spiral to this point? It all started a few days earlier, when Bartleby received the list of college admissions and his name wasn't on any of them. Rejected by every school. He panicked. He didn't want to disappoint his parents, so he came up with a wild idea. If no college would accept him, why not make one up? He printed a fake acceptance letter, tweaked a school logo, gave the fake college a name, and wrote a short description to make it look real. But a letter alone wasn't convincing enough to sell the lie. He asked a tech-savvy friend to help him create a fake college website. That way, when his dad handed him the acceptance letter and said, "Congratulations, you've been accepted," he could act just as surprised.
Congratulations, you've been accepted!
His mom teared up with joy and gave him a heartfelt hug. But even in that touching moment, his dad looked skeptical. With Bartleby's grades, this seemed unlikely. Thinking fast, Bartleby pulled up the fake website. That bought him a little more time. The next day, his dad handed him a check for his first semester's tuition, and before leaving, he shared one more surprise. On the first day of school, the whole family would be driving him to campus together. That's when Bartleby realized the trap he'd set for himself. There was no school, but soon, his family would find out the truth. Desperate, he gathered his friends to figure out a plan. They needed a place that could pass as a college at least for one day. After some searching, they found an old, abandoned hospital. It was run down, dusty, and falling apart, but Bartleby saw potential. They all did, so they got to work. They tore down the fences, cleaned every room, and fixed whatever they could. After days of non-stop effort, the South Armand Institute of Technology finally looked like a real school. But they weren't done yet. They needed a president. Bartleby's dad was serious about education. He'd definitely want to meet the head of the school. That's when Bartleby's friend Glenn had an idea. His uncle used to be a respected professor at nearby Harmon College but was fired for being a little too unconventional. Now he worked in a clothing store, just scraping by. Bartleby asked him to play the role of president. Surprisingly, he said yes without hesitation. They also brought in volunteers to act as students. Once everything was in place, Bartleby and his parents arrived at the fake campus. The renovated space and clean facilities impressed even his strict father. For a moment, it looked like Bartleby had pulled it off, but the moment they stepped inside, his dad started noticing strange things. It felt like a hospital. To ease his doubts, Bartleby rushed to introduce his parents to the president. Luckily, the man still had real experience in education and gave such a convincing talk that Bartleby's dad finally relaxed. Bartleby breathed a sigh of relief. But then, just as his parents left, a student showed up. He said he was there to register. Bartleby assumed he was lost and told him to check out Harmon College down the road. But the student insisted he was in the right place. He'd received an acceptance letter, and he wasn't the only one. More and more students began showing up, each holding an acceptance. That's when Bartleby realized something was seriously wrong. These students were all different, but they shared one thing in common. They'd been rejected by every other college too. Some parents didn't even question the school's legitimacy. They just wanted someone else to take care of their kids. Bartleby was overwhelmed. How could so many people know about a school that was never supposed to exist? He confronted Glenn to get answers. That's when he found out the truth. Glenn had secretly added a clickable acceptance button to the website to make it look more legit. When Bartleby's dad checked it, anyone who entered their info would instantly get accepted. Now, it was too late to stop the wave of new students. And that brings us back to the beginning. When that student stood up and said his parents were finally proud of him, Bartleby felt something shift. He saw himself in every one of those kids. Rejected, overlooked, still full of hope. They all had dreams. They just needed a chance to shine. So what started as a goodbye turned into an opening ceremony. Bartleby took the mic and declared, "Everyone here is accepted." But now he faced a real challenge. How do you actually run a school? How do you teach hundreds of students? Want to know what happened next? Follow me. I'll be back soon with the rest of the story.